Hey everybody, and welcome to Collider's Top 5 Most Anticipated Universal Releases. I'm Ashley Mauve, and I'm here with Mark Ellis.
And I am thrilled to be joined by the last true fan the Los Angeles Lakers have. Ashley and I, we just broke the office record for most donut holes consumed at lunchtime.
I'm burping up glaze right now.
And now we get to talk about Universal's year. 2015 was a record-breaking year for the production company. I mean, you had movies like Jurassic World and Fast and Furious movies just going bonanzas at the box office, which is a new phrase I just coined. And then you also have the prospect of 2016 maybe being the year that we finally get video game movies back on track with something that Universal has coming out in the summer. But before we get to all that stuff, Ashley, we have a bunch of movies to talk about. What are we kicking off with?
We do. Up first, we had Ride Along 2, and say what you want, Mark, but it was number one the weekend it opened. It was the first but not the last time we'll see Kevin Hart in a Universal production this year. In March, we'll have another sequel, and it's My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2. Nia Vardalos, John Corbett, and the gang are back after spending most of their time focusing on their troubling teenage daughter. Tula and Ian are facing marital problems while also having to deal with yet another Greek wedding, this time even bigger and even fatter. Up next, The Boss. A titan of industry, played by Melissa McCarthy, is sent to prison after she's caught for insider trading. When she emerges ready to rebrand herself as America's latest sweetheart, not everyone she screwed over is so quick to forgive and forget. Kristen Bell and Peter Dinklage also star in the film opening April 8th. Next up, The Huntsman: Winter's War. Emily Blunt and Jessica Chastain join returning cast members Chris Hemsworth and Charlize Theron on April 22nd. As two evil sisters prepare to conquer the land, two renegades, Eric the Huntsman and his forbidden lover Sarah, set out to stop them.
And I'm actually excited about this movie, Ashley, and I'll tell you why. It's because in the first film, you had Kristen Stewart. So now we're getting rid of Kristen Stewart, but we're upgrading to Emily Blunt and Jessica Chastain. That is the best trade since the Lakers got Kobe from the Hornets on draft day.
That's a good call.
Way back when. So this is a movie who's already had a trailer that's been pretty well received because we like Chris Hemsworth already. Him and Jessica Chastain going against not one, but two evil princesses, kind of like Frozen all of a sudden now. There's a lot of fun you could be having with this movie.
I don't want to let it go. All right. Next up, Connor for Real. The June 3rd release is still shrouded in secrecy, but we do know this is at least the working title for the upcoming Lonely Island movie. Andy Samberg, Akiva Schreiber, and Jorma Taccone will all be featured, with the latter two directing. Next up, The Purge 3. The Purge 3 is the third film in the horror thriller franchise. The film stars Frank Grillo, and little is known about the plot at the moment, but be sure for some intense action and situations.
July 1st is going to have The Purge 3, and I am losing my mind with excitement about that because while I love the premise of the first Purge with Ethan Hawke, it was more of a horror kind of vibe, and I just didn't think that they pulled it off that well. But then The Purge 2 happens, not a lot of expectations, and it became my favorite Punisher movie I've ever seen. Frank Grillo was so good, they turned it into more of a straight slam-bang action thriller kind of movie, and I think that's how The Purge works the best. The whole town, the whole world, you better shut down for 12 hours because anything is legal, and I can't wait to see where they take this franchise.
Next up, The Secret Life of Pets. Taking place in a Manhattan apartment building, Max's life as a favorite pet is turned upside down when his owner brings home a sloppy mongrel named Duke. They have to put their quarrels behind when they find out that an adorable white bunny named Snowball is building an army of abandoned pets determined to take revenge on all happily owned pets and their owners. Voices provided by Kevin Hart, Lake Bell, Steve Coogan, and many others.
And I loved watching this trailer as well. It comes out July 8th, so it could be that summertime tentpole animated movie that all studios bank on. Universal could have a huge hit on their hands with this one.
Next up, Spectral. A sci-fi thriller story centered on a special ops team that is dispatched to fight supernatural beings that have taken over New York City. James Badgedale and Emily Mortimer star, while Nick Matthew makes his directorial debut.
This movie comes out August 12th, which can make you a little nervous because you're not sure what you're getting in the month of August. But if you give me a sci-fi action thriller, you say there's a special ops team, there's going to be supernatural elements at play, I'm already locked into that. It has like an Escape from New York kind of sound to it. Plus, James Badgedale. If you guys have not seen 13 Hours, I love the movie. You don't have to love the movie, but you got to at least like his performance in it. He is so believable as probably going to be a special ops guy in this upcoming movie. That dude does action great. Can't wait to see him in this one.
Next up, Bridget Jones's Baby. Bridget Jones's Baby is the third film in the Bridget Jones franchise and a sequel to 2004's Bridget Jones: The Edge of Reason. Going wide on September 16th, the film will star Renee Zellweger and Colin Firth, returning as Bridget Jones and Mark Dark. Patrick Dempsey will make his Bridget Jones debut, and the film will be directed by Sharon Maguire. Next up, Kevin Hart. What now? The popular comedian has a brand new stand-up concert that was filmed live on August 30th, 2015, in front of 53,000 people in Philadelphia.
And it's going to an even wider audience on October 14th. Look, you can say what you want about Kevin Hart's movies. They're not exactly critical darlings, but the dude is one of the funniest guys on the planet when he's performing stand-up. Philadelphia, which is maybe a tougher crowd to please than most, and he did it in front of 53,000 people. I am a comic. I can't imagine performing for 53,000 people. That's something that I want to experience.
Next up, Ouija 2. Just in time for Halloween, Ouija 2 is the sequel to the 2014 horror film Ouija, based off the creepy board game. The sequel is directed by Mike Flanagan, who is best known for directing the 2013 horror film Oculus. None of the stars from the original cast are returning, and the new cast includes Henry Thomas, Annalise Basso, and Elizabeth Reeser. Next up, A Myers Christmas. A dysfunctional family gathers together for their first Thanksgiving since their mom died. Danny Glover, Gabrielle Union, Omar Epps, and Monique all star in the movie opening November 11th. Next up, The Great Wall. November 23rd brings us The Great Wall from legendary director Zhang Yimou, whose visual magic is responsible for gorgeous films such as Here on the House of Flying Daggers. Here we'll get a tale about the mystery centered around the construction of the Great Wall of China. The film will star Matt Damon, Pedro Pascal, and Andy Lau.
And apparently it's a 3D fantasy science fiction epic action adventure movie. Those are all things I really like hearing. A legendary director plus Matt Damon is one of the stars. Let's do it.
Next up, Let It Snow. Based on the 2008 novel Let It Snow, 3 holiday romances by John Green, Maureen Johnson, and Lauren Miracle, this romantic comedy hits theaters appropriately right around Christmas on December 9th. Next up, Sing. This animated holiday film by director Garth Jennings tells the tale of a koala named Buster who recruits his best friend to help him drum up business for his theater by hosting a singing competition. The film opens on December 21st and will have the star-studded voice talents of Scarlett Johansson, Matthew McConaughey, Reese Witherspoon, Seth MacFarlane, John C. Reilly, and a slew of others. And now we have our top 5 most anticipated Universal movies of the year, and kicking it off at number 5 is Neighbors 2. Seth Rogen, Rose Byrne, and Zac Efron are back for more collegiate hijinks on May 20th. The trailer already has us laughing, and the addition of Chloe Moretz and Selena Gomez adds even more star power to the comedy sequel.
And Neighbors 2 Sorority Rising is a movie that, again, I wasn't totally sold on its premise, but once that trailer hit, you hit it on the head, Ashley. It's so funny. It doesn't have a high bar to reach to be the funniest comedy sequel of all time. I mean, you're talking about like maybe Wayne's World 2, The Naked Gun 2.5. These movies tend to not be that good because they just are based off the first premise. But here we have it now. It's a sorority we're dealing with. Chloe Moretz and Selena Gomez playing very against type somewhat. Plus, it just seems funny. Like Zac Efron and Seth Rogen now having to team up. Rose Byrne, throw her in the mix as well. And it looks like Hannibal Buress as the cop might have more of a presence in this one. And that's always a welcome sight. I think this is going to be hysterical.
At number 4, Warcraft. The hopes of fervent fans are high with Warcraft. Director Duncan Jones's fantasy, based on the smash hit video game, will be a blend of live action and performance capture technology. Humans and orcs will begin their adventure on June 10th.
And look, I buy Duncan Jones as the director of this movie. He can clearly pull off something like this. The 2 main questions about Warcraft is, one, how is the performance capture technology going to hold up against some of the great versions of it we've already seen in stuff like the new Planet of the Apes reboot? And then an even bigger question about that is, look, it's got a huge fan base. This isn't just another video game movie. You're talking about Warcraft. People hold this stuff very near and dear to their heart. So can you make a movie that's going to please that fan base as well as attract people who aren't that familiar with the video game, who know there's this phenomenon named Warcraft, and they just want to go see a good movie? It's got a lot on its plate, but with a guy like Duncan Jones behind the camera, you got to think he can pull it off.
At number 3, The Girl on the Train. Opening October 7th, The Girl on the Train follows a woman named Rachel, Emily Blunt, who goes on a train to London. She witnesses the perfect couple, Scott and Megan. But one day, havoc ensues this couple, and Rachel becomes involved in their drama/murder mystery. Rebecca Ferguson, Luke Evans, and Edgar Ramirez also star.
I love the premise of this movie, and I already hate Scott and Megan as a couple.
I hate them.
Like, they're just so perfect. And imagine if you're Emily Blunt's character, Rachel, you're just sitting on a train every day. Maybe you haven't found the right one yet. Maybe your OkCupid account got banned. You don't know what's going on in her life. Then she has to see this couple every day. And then all of a sudden, day by day, it looks like there's this little cracks in their armor of a perfect life. What's happening with that couple? We all have been in somewhat of a situation where you're looking at something from afar and it just doesn't appear to be looking right anymore. This movie, this could be an Oscar contender.
At number 2, Bourne 5. The next installment of the Bourne franchise is still shrouded in mystery, but we do know that Matt Damon is returning to the iconic role of Jason Bourne, and Paul Greengrass is also back up behind the camera. We'll know the rest this summer when the film releases on July 29th.
And the Bourne franchise has been one of the best action franchises of the last 20 years, even with the, I don't want to call it a misstep because I enjoyed the Jeremy Renner version for what it was, but it is such a welcome sight to see not only Matt Damon returning as Jason Bourne, but Paul Greengrass, the guy who is responsible for The Supremacy and then The Ultimatum. It's a guy that he knows how to do this style. He knows how to work with Matt Damon in an action setting. So what has Jason Bourne been up to? We don't know. It seemed like he was pretty set on just disappearing for the rest of his time after the last film he was in. So what the hell is bringing him out of retirement? I can't wait to find out.
And at number 1, Hail Caesar. Hollywood fixer Josh Brolin springs into action when movie star George Clooney gets kidnapped and an actress becomes pregnant. Written and directed by the Coen brothers, Hail Caesar features an all-star cast that also includes Channing Tatum, Scarlett Johansson, and Jonah Hill. The movie is out February 5th.
And it just seems like a movie that is so in the Coen brothers' wheelhouse. You're talking about the golden age of Hollywood and all this craziness ensuing. Sometimes as a movie fan, you just have to rely on talent. So a film written and directed by those guys, and then you have all these stars that Ashley just mentioned in there. It comes out February 5th. It's early in the year for seemingly for a Coen brothers movie to be released, but look, we're all on board with this movie. It was number 1. Everybody, we took all of our votes, we pulled them together, and Hail Caesar was by far the most anticipated Universal release for everybody on the team here. So we don't have to wait that long to find out if it was worth it.
And that's a wrap for the 2016 Universal Studios movies. But we want to hear from you guys.
And make sure you guys comment right now. Let the discussion begin. Tell us which of these movies do you want to see the most that's coming out from Universal this year. Go ahead in the comment section and give us your top 5 movies that you just can't wait to see. And make sure you guys subscribe to Collider Video on YouTube. That way you can stay up to date on all the latest movie news coming your way each and every day. And bookmark Collider.com as well, because you can get all your movie news there too. So, for the incredible Lakers fan known as Ashley Mova, I'm a Spurs fan, Mark Ellis. Sorry about that. And we'll see you guys next time here at Collider Video.